Hi friends and friendly subscribers, welcome back to my channel. This is Inner Hill Tarot, and today we're going to do the part 2 of the July 2023 decks review. And I'm sorry I'm uploading this very late because yeah, there's a lot of things going on in my life, and it's just quite a hectic period at this moment. I know it's not a reason not to upload, but it is what it is. So if you haven't seen the first edition or first part of this video, there is a video also in July about July 2023 about the decks that I'm actually use, and it's all mass market. So if you're interested in more in mass market decks that I'm using, both in here, in my real life offline, and in my Instagram in innerhill.tarot. So I suggested you going to the first video first, and this one I'm going to talk about the indie decks that I'm using this month in July 2023. Okay, so in July 2023, first of all, there's a lot of indie decks or Kickstarter decks that I'm backing earlier this year that came already, and I'm so happy because the level of professionalism of these artists are quite good, and I'm really happy with the quality of the overall decks that I received. Yeah, in particular these three decks actually. In the others also I have like the High Tarot is also a Kickstarter deck, but it's not from this year. I bought it from another seller, so I'm gonna discount it. But the one that I'm going to highlight here is these three decks. First of all, I got the Serpent and Peacock Tarot, and I really love it because this is from the Libra moon, and it's printed in Italy, in Europe, instead of like the regular stuff made in China. So I'm really appreciate the fact that she well, Libra moon, let's just say the artist name, because I don't want to talk about gender right now and how it's going to be perceived in my channel. So yeah, I'm actually really appreciate why she's doing it in Italy, because she said that this is supposed to be an art edition and it will never be printed this way again, and it has like extra cards. So it's instead of 78 we have like 84 cards in here, and it features a lot of artist work basically, and she edited again a lot of the artwork, and at the same time she add as well extra cards for magicians, and for some other characters actually. And the Fool as well. She has several fool, several moons, and magicians. And I really appreciate this deck, because the quality of the paper is not really have to be thick, I think, but it's just like felt like velvet in your hand, and it's not shiny. It's not glossy, so I really love it. A lot of people like from the I'm number 17 by the way, yay, out of 750. So yeah, I think if you want to purchase this deck right now, it's still available actually in her website, a Serpent and Peacock art version. I recommend you to buy it. I know that a lot of people like the first edition with like different moon card or something like this, but I like this one because it's borderless. First of all, it has different fool and magicians, and also I think she corrected the way she placed the elements in the card. So in the first edition, some people kind of protested because the way she put not just pentacles, I think the swords is the most obvious thing for people to see that it's not photoshopped well. For example, this one, it still have like, I mean, I used to work as a photographer, so I can see the defects of like the white edges here. If you do the Photoshop well, actually there are techniques that can make the white edges disappear. But I mean, I don't mind it so much because I think actually the fact that you can tell that it's Photoshop, it's kind of sometimes it's jumped more because there is no other wording than number 6 here instead of a sword. So it's actually good for me personally to have a reminder that the additional here is the one or the pentacles or something like that, because otherwise everything else is just the artwork. And if you're not kind of putting it right in your head or in your mind, on your face rather, so you kind of like don't remember what this card about basically. But that is just my opinion. Like for this one, it's the 7, it's this one is actually the sun card in another deck, actually the Splendor Solace Tarot. But I don't mind it again, you know. I mean, it's a artist prerogative what they want to do. I mean, it's their way of expression, right? And I use this deck not as much as I would like. Actually, this month, I just tried it out a little bit. I pair it out with the Golden Tarot by Cat Black, which is like from US Games actually, but my edition is not so good because it's very glossy. And also I pair it up with this deck as well, the Splendor Solace Tarot, which is also a gorgeous alchemical deck basically. So you have this together. It's just pairing up. You see, like this sword is like, it's very clear it's added by the Photoshop, but I really don't mind it because then you can tell that this is what the artist is thinking, you know. And yeah, I don't know why people are quite put off by it, some of the people, because I read comments and stuff like that, but to me it's actually just gorgeous, you know, the way she put like the 2 of Pentacles together in here. It's just really nice actually. And it's kind of like, for example, like this, pairing it up together, it's just quite heavenly because it goes together, the feeling from the medieval kind of times, and also it has like a similar edging. It's not like in your face kind of thing. So I like this, pairing these 2 decks together. And I also like the Travis McHenry Bosch Tarot together with this, but I don't have it right now in my position. Otherwise I have to pause the video and I don't want to do that. So yeah, I just realized with this deck I actually have several medieval tarot decks, and I just appreciate how this deck came to be, you know, because some of the art I just enjoy in the book as well. I even this is already 9.5 minutes talking about one deck. Okay, I basically have several medieval art books. Maybe I will make another video about medieval art decks that I have. but I'm going to leave it right now, the Serpent and the Peacock Tarot Art Edition. I'm just saying, if you've been interested in her work like I did, I originally wanted to buy the first edition, but for some reason I really don't like the border in it, so I kind of like, okay, this is not for me kind of thing. And if borderless art is for you, then, and you like medieval arts, I highly recommend to get this deck actually. Yeah, it's a nice addition to work on your alchemical journey. Okay, so that is my first Kickstarter. And the second one is the Rain Shadow Tarot. The Rain Shadow Tarot I got actually from someone in a social media who's been liking Claire Mack. It's the name of the artist. So the artist has made other deck actually, oracle wise, and the person that traded it or like selling it to me, she like the other oracle deck, but for some reason she didn't connect with this deck, so she just kind of like letting rehoming this deck, and I snatched it, and I have to say I'm really liking this deck as well, because also like the Serpent and Peacock deck, this one is featuring some medieval art, which is also right up my alley, but at the same time also it has the quality of the cutout and the collage kind of feel, and at the same time it has the alchemical processes, and it has kind of like modern feeling as well. It's a lot of things. It's kind of like what a modern tarot deck feels to me. It has a little bit of a Lubanko feeling. This Hermit is really feel like Lubanko feeling to me, Lubanko tarot. So yeah, I really enjoy this deck, and and July has been like a really weird period in the UK this year, because June we have like a really hot, fantastic early summer days, and we thought it's like, oh, we're gonna smash this year, we're gonna have a fantastic summer, and come July it's like raining raining all every day, and I have a suspicion, and I have like a weird feeling that probably because I got this deck, the rain shadow, the shadow of the rain, then we have like a very wet July. I don't know, of course not, you know, it's just like me being egotistical again. Not again, but you know, sometimes it's like I felt that when something goes wrong, it's has to be my fault, but of course it's not, it's just the weather. But yeah, in general this deck is so beautiful, and I also use it together with the Serpent and Peacock Tarot actually. So yeah, it has been quite a fun July for me, working with a lot of indie decks as well, because pairing it up with the mass market deck, which is a lot of times is vetted and edited in a certain style to appeal as many people as possible, and to pairing them up with the indie deck that in certain way it has more freedom to explore itself. How do they feel about a certain archetype? It's just it's nice contrast for me to understand them, and to actually you know, to pairing them up, and to feel this feeling of holding the dichotomy between a restrained point of view, and to just go with deliberate abandon, like this deck feels to me, and also together with the Serpent and Peacock Tarot. So I enjoy also working with this deck, And to me, the Rain Shadow Tarot is really useful when I have a blockage of emotion, or I see that my clients have a blockage of emotions. It's just like the shadow, why the shadow of the rain, right? The shadow of your emotion, like why is all of a sudden you feel a certain kind of rage, or suddenly you feel very sad upon a situation that can be quite trivial kind of thing. And yeah, it's a very nice deck to have at the moment. And the third one, this is like a gem. This month, oh my god, this month is all about Aphrodite to me. And it's just okay, I backed this deck I think in April or something, without really expecting anything major, anything major at all, from the deck basically. And I feel that the Kickstarter campaign was okay. And I saw also the Oracle deck, and it's just not it's kind of quiet actually, this deck Kickstarter campaign. And a lot of people, I think, is kind of miscalculated, or a lot of people is not really seeing the potential of this deck, I feel, and they're kind of just letting it go pass by. So I didn't expect so much about this deck actually. And a lot of, but people who backed it is kind of like, oh my god, I really, so it's either like people really get it about this deck and they kind of like back it with full heart, I should say, or people just passing it by, really. And to me, it's like I'm really interested in backing this deck because it's based in Germany, in Berlin, and it's shipped out from EU country, which is make it easier and more affordable for me to back, because then the, what do you call it, because then the, what do you call it, the postage is not expensive at all. If I back a lot from the US right now, the postage in itself is already a price of 1.5 mass market decks. So, and it's only the postage. So that's why like I'm holding off, you know, backing in a Kickstarter for American decks, basically from the Americas, because on top of that, we are being charged by VAT now. I don't know if people realize yet, in the UK now, the current government is just putting VAT on everything. It's not just items from the Americas, but also from the EU. So if you want to purchase a deck also from the EU, make sure again that the VAT is already included, because otherwise you have to add extra 5% or something like that on top of the price of an indie deck. It can be quite a lot if you're indie deck fanatic, you know. I don't know, it feels like there is some kind of a cooling going on, or it's kind of like an editing going on for people in the UK who wants to connect with other occult science or other artists in this realm from the current government. I don't know, it's just really weird. It's even the mass market, if you get it from the EU countries, you also get a VAT. So it's really uncool at the moment. I don't know what they want to do. Maybe they want to have the UK pound sterling to be stronger again by taxing everyone like this. I don't know. It's just weird. But let's go back to the deck. And so yeah, so basically what I like about backing this deck is because first of all, it's very clear. It's about a tarot of Aphrodite. So the deck is talking about point of view of the 78 archetype from Aphrodite point of view, you know, like, of course not everything is Aphrodite in here, but a lot of the images depicted, it's somewhat has Aphrodite aspect to it. And with the Venus retrograde in Leo, I don't know, you know, it's just the timing of this deck coming to my hand is it's like an impeccable timing. And I talked with the artist Natasha from, and she said, yeah, I also don't know, I just work with this energy very strongly, and I felt the calling to make this tarot deck after the oracle. And afterwards, somehow yeah, somehow everything just fits. And at the moment that the deck came into my possession, I get to do the unboxing and the consecrating of this deck in one of the most fertile land in Germany. So it just feels like everything is just perfect for me as well, you know. It feels like a super empress energy with the Venus retrograding in Leo. It feels like there's a certain degree that push me in certain direction as a tarot reader and a YouTube content creator in this way. It's just calling me to keep working with this energy in many months to come, I think, you know. And to work with this energy, it's beautiful because I'm also pairing it up with another beautiful goddess energy, Tarot of Delphi, and to have them together next to each other is just, to me, is heavenly. If only Tarot of Delphi is printed in not a glossy paper, that will be like match made in heaven. But in any case, it's almost perfect already, in my opinion. Look at this, the Four of Coins and the King of Wands. It's just, I don't even know this, you know. It's just a very stunning pairing, working with these two deck together. Oh my god, I have to look for the Lovers in this deck because it's so similar with the other Lovers. And this deck for me, it's really beautiful and enhance my capabilities of manifesting in a more gentle way. And it's as soon as I have this deck in my possession, I just can enhance, I don't know what it is, I can enhance my my feminine qualities. So before, whenever I feel a lot of stuff not going well in my world, I would express it outwardly in a way, and kind of like blaming other people. But since I have this deck, first of all, I get to use this deck more for some reason, and second of all, I just embrace more my feminine quality. And yeah, it's just kind of teaching me how to approach certain situation differently, basically. Look at this Lovers card, it's so beautiful. So yeah, and it's just kind of propel me to walk in a beauty way, in a more emphasized way, you know. It's just giving me this kind of path on how to approach things in more beautiful way, how to talk to people in not palatable but still firm, but at the same time I don't have to be so aggressive, you know. There's no need to like so aggressive and putting on my male shoe whenever I have something that I needed to say strongly. So thank you, Tarot of Aphrodite. Thank you, Natasha, for helping me. And thank you, Tarot of Delphi, of course. And I'm not going to be so long time with the video of the indie deck, because I don't use that much actually. And the next one that I'm using this July is the Voyager Tarot. And the Voyager Tarot, I have it like the old one. I think this is the first edition, 1984. Yeah, I have the first edition, and it's just a very stunning deck as well in itself. It's one of the OG when it comes to collage deck, and I'm using it as a deck that I'm giving a tarot workshop to. And actually it's quite stunning because it's kind of makes me see how it works with certain with my clients' subliminal and subconscious way of thinking, in a way that I didn't even know it could. Because if you see this deck in itself, it can look very overwhelming, you know. But when you work with it, when I work with it with my clients, and it's really interesting, there is just really like snippet of things that comes through, and somehow I can link it into a pattern within the spread or within even just one card. And to me, that's what a tarot deck's supposed to be, you know. It's supposed to evoke something inside of you and make you see things differently, really. And yeah, I'm just really stunned by this deck, because even though it's from 1984, it's so way ahead of its time, basically, because it feels very modern, you know. This deck is comparable, in my opinion, to, for example, to this deck, the Lioness Oracle Tarot. You know, the degree of the collage feeling in both of this deck is really comparable. And this Voyager Tarot, it's from 1984, like I said again. And hold on. And this deck comes from, doesn't even say, 2016. So there is like 20 something years difference from both deck, but if you use it side by side, it felt like it came from a same decade or same kind of year. That's how modern a Voyager Tarot is, and that's how relevant it is still in our consciousness, in our subconsciousness way of thinking. And the way the Voyager Tarot reveals pattern in subconscious, it's, to me, it's almost unparalleled actually, because it's just so gorgeous in a way of the color. It's so vivid. It's almost psychedelic in a way. It has a quality of psychedelic to it. And this is the kind of the vision that I get whenever I do like plant medicine, certain plant medicine like ayahuasca. sometimes I got this kind of vision, and yeah, I think that's why also I'm very connected with this deck, is because it's just the way the color and the way the images, you can just go in and zoom in and zoom in, and you can still find so many things in in the deepest deep of the picture. It's just really amazing. And unfortunately, the newer version of this deck is quite shit, to be honest. um and yeah, it's not good at all. I wish they still keep the quality the same. I mean, the border of the new one is a more prominent color than this, and I think because it's printed in China, instead of Hong Kong back in the 1980s. As the Hong Kong people just do things better. I feel. I'm sorry, I don't mean to diss Chinese people, but I feel that it's just the quality of the paper, the quality of the printing, and the new edition ones. It's like the color. It's more murky. It's not as punchy as this one. So if you want to work with the Voyager Tarot, I highly recommend to buy the older version, because the newer version, first of all, the card is smaller. It's like 20 to 30% smaller, and the border is murkier. So it's, instead of this color, it's become the avocado color, the border. So it's really it's affecting the way you see the image, actually. And if it's smaller, I mean, there's so many rich things in this. How can you even go further in? If I just think that the new publisher don't really get what the Voyager Tarot is about, actually. That's why it's not as popular as before, and people go instead to a newer version that other people made, like the Lioness Oracle Tarot. And because of this, and it's such a shame, because if people just give it a chance and try to pursue, I mean, it is not cheap, the first editions of decks, of course, but at the same time, it's so worth it if you someone who's I think it's neurodivergent people. I highly recommend, you know the book and the deck in itself, and work with this deck quite feverishly. I highly recommend this deck, because for ADHD people, it's like you want to keep going, but then somehow there's a pattern that broke inside the image, and it's really worth it. It's really worth it to see this pattern, because I see it in front of my eyes. The way my clients have the aha moment with this deck is quite stunning. So the last one that I would, well, two of the last one, I guess, I will quickly say about the High Tarot. The High Tarot is, I'm going to talk about it in a different video, more in depth, actually. I'm just going to say it very fast in here. So the High Tarot is a deck that's created by a British artist, Dan Francis, out of his grieving process of the loss of one of member of his family. And the first time I saw this deck is from the Tarot pick pile video. She's quite good in it, and I was like, before I saw this deck before as well, actually, like 6 months ago, 7-8 months ago, and I never quite get it at that time, why this deck is should be in her collection, in ESO collection. But ESO do what ESO does. So yeah, I'm just not really feeling it. But then this year, yeah, around July actually. I saw another one of her pick a pile video, and for some reason I just cannot not have this deck for some reason. And I didn't even know the backstory. I don't have the guidebook from here, and I wish the artist just create a thin guidebook even, because the way that he put the archetype um within with the image is very new in my opinion, like the statue death kind of thing, like the temperance with the bell. What is this, you know? So it's unfortunate that we don't get to really understand his point of view, why the charm is the tower, you know. So, and I wish to learn, because from the reading that I get with this deck, it's quite stunning actually. I'm not going to tell you in this video, but it is a stunning deck actually. I'm going to explain it in another video that I have a theme for this deck, and yeah, we will highlight it later. And the last one for this July 2023 decks review that came from Kickstarter or Indie Decks is the I Am the Artist Tarot by Saki Saki and the Haunting Saki Saki Tarot. So at the moment of filming this video, Monica Cleosaki from the creator of the Saki Saki Tarot is making this 21 challenge, tarot challenge, with the color quest. It's a new system that she's putting in together into the I Am the Artist Tarot. And for me, whenever there's some social media influencer try to make this color quest, you know, like every 21 days or in July or in May, you know, I follow it not in full, because I'm not home all the time and all of my collection is at home, and I don't want to carry all of my tarot cards that I potentially will use everywhere. And normally I would enter in 1 or 2 days of the competition, for not competition, but it's just like, okay, let's do 21 days or how many days it is. And the thing is, I also do the same with the color quest, with the Saki Saki Tarot. That's now, it's still ongoing. Today is the day 10 of the 21 days. And I did a few days and I didn't realize how deep the quest could take me, you know. And one of the primary color, which is black, I got this just like lost in what do you call it, lost in the channeling sauce, and I just kept on digging, and I didn't know that it can be so deep. Basically, I don't know, maybe because I connected so much with the ideas with the color quest, or you can see it in my posts in my not YouTube, in my Instagram, innerheal.tarot. You can follow my journey there as well. It's that Instagram is about my personal journey with tarot. It's not about reading for other people. In other people, reading is more like innerheal.tarot.readings, which is, I don't do that much because I do a lot of readings offline actually. So yeah, I didn't know that it can go so deep. And after I did that reading for myself in the black color, I kind of get scared of following the next days actually. So I'm kind of like, let me just hit the pause button here. Maybe also because it's the super moon coming in soon, so there's a lot of messages about myself, and then I'm not sure that I should doing it right now because it's just too much. But yeah, but using these two decks because first of all, I Am the Artist Tarot is the evolution from the Saki Saki Tarot, and honestly I don't use the Saki Saki Tarot that much anymore because I have the Haunting one, and the Haunting one I prefer a little bit more than the real one because it's just giving me the extra depth of shadow quality. The Haunting Saki Saki Tarot is the deck that has like misprinting error in it, and Monica, being a genius artist that she is, instead of destroying the error, the deck, she's just said like, let me just pay this and I'm gonna sell it as one of a kind deck, which is works very well, and it's very limited edition. I think she just have like 29 or something in her possession at that time. So she starts selling it when the Saki Saki Taro is sold out. And also in the first get-go, I don't get it, you know, and I was like, I want the clear version of Saki Saki Taro. I don't want the murky version. But now I get it, you know, it's just adding an extra layer of shadow quality in the reading, and also at the same time it's kind of like accepting the error of other people as part of you and how to transmute the energy into something else. And I like the idea of that because it's just kind of like this transmuting energy. It's very visible in this Haunting Saki Saki, you know. So yeah, I Am the Artist Tarot is quite powerful deck in my opinion, and I wouldn't use it as a light reading, to be quite honest. It's something else. It can bring out a lot of shit out of you despite the colorful deck in itself. I think that's why like this deck has been relevant for so long, even though it's been out of print quite a while before. And I think the receive by people, the it's still quite well received by people this year when it came out 1st of January 2023. And yeah, Monica, you know how to start a year with a bang, of course, by announcing your deck on 1st of January of the soul year 2023, chariot year. And yeah, for some reason it works and it's still relevant despite there's so many indie decks from Kickstarter that coming out. This deck is still quite kicking and screaming. So that is my personal journey in July 2023 with all of these beautiful indie decks outside of the mass market decks as well. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope this video somehow can also help your personal tarot journey, as your comments, subscribe and share helping my personal tarot journey as well. And I hope to see you soon in the next video. Don't forget to subscribe, share and comments if you like this video. See you soon guys, and see you in the next one. Bye bye.